All right, so I think it's time to start. Ms. Tamburro is gonna put the PowerPoint up so that you can all see it. I think before we start, I just want to say I really, and when I say I really mean me and Ms. Nussbaum and Ms. Tamburro, really appreciate you guys taking the time to come tonight. This stuff is really important, and it'll be much easier this entire year in this whole process with all of you guys being here and listening. As a heads up, we are going to go over a ton of information. You by no means at all need to remember everything that we talk about. We're still here to help with everything, but this is an overview to get us kind of full bore into the process. A lot of this we went over in the spring during junior planning night and then our junior planning meetings. So with that, we're going to start senior planning night. For anybody that has just joined us, we did ask for you to write your name if you're the student or if you're the parent, your child's name into the chat bar so that we know exactly who is here and who is not. So this screen is the first screen. Obviously, oh, where are you going, lady? So this screen, you guys all know who your counselors at this point. You all, I think, know who Miss Nussbaum is as well. If you don't, Miss Nussbaum, can you just say hi really quick? So
hello, I'm here to help you.
So she is really our guru in all senses of the word when it comes to college. So she is here to help with anything and everything. Her forte is definitely the essays. Talk about that later. But the most important piece, so Ms. Tamburro and I had to restructure our entire college application process because some of you guys are in school and some of you are at home. So to make sure that we get all of this done, we have created separate Google Classrooms. At this point, each of you should be connected to either mine if you're mine or hers if you're hers. The items on the left that just say School Counselor Google Classrooms, those are the ones that you should already be connected to. The classrooms listed on the right, this is the most important. I need you all to make sure that you connect to either my classroom if you're my student or Ms. Tamburro's if you are her student. So, KIA, give me 1 second actually. Sorry, I just needed to remove that person from the meeting, so hopefully everything is good now. So my Google code for any Kaizer kids, KIA, the number 7, JWM. Miss Tamburro's kids, K4, SQJ7R. We will send this out via remind text as well. But if you can write it down now and join the classroom, all of your college forms are going to be in there. I will go over that later. But that Google Classroom is really important. On that note, I think most of you are signed up for the remind text at this point. This year, more than ever, the remind texts are really going to be one of the few ways that we have to communicate with all of you. Like I said, half of you are in the building, half of you are fully remote, and we want to make sure that everyone gets the same communications. So if you have not already signed up for the remind text, please make sure to do that right now. You just send a message to that 81010 number, and then in the actual message, you do the @ 246GF. Okay. You know the next slide.
Yep, I'm just, my computer for some reason is.
Okay. Well, I'll start talking. So the next slide is just our overview, our agenda for the night. So we're going to do a junior year review. We are going to touch base about the college application process, go over financial aid resources, other help along the way, and then we will have time for questions at the very end. Okay, so resources to help with college planning. Some of these items may look very familiar, some may not. Naviance, I hope at this point you all know exactly how to get into Naviance. For any of you that may have had an issue logging in the last week when we sent out the remind text asking you to complete one of the SSP tasks, you have to use the single login. When you look at the login page, there's a login and a password, or right above it, it says single login. The single login, I promise you, will work. So within Naviance, there is a college search, there's a college compare. Both are wonderful resources to look at schools, solidify your list. College Board also is a great tool to search for schools, figure out what works for you, what does not. For some of you that might not have an idea in terms of what kind of school you're looking for, but you know things you definitely don't want, you can do the search that way as well. Campus visits, so that is going to look different this year. Most schools are doing virtual tours, if not all. Individual schools have different protocols, so we really are going to have to go case by case, reach out to the schools, the admissions offices, and see what they are offering right now because of COVID. Obviously, Ms. Tamburro and I are your counselors. Ms. Nussbaum, a huge resource, and we are all available via Zoom or Google Meet. Ms. Tamburro and I are each going to be in the building 1 day a week. Ms. Nussbaum is also going to be in the building. She's also available remotely. So all three of us are accessible, whether you are in school or out of school. Either way, that'll work. College rep visits. So that is also going to look different this year because of COVID. So all of them are going to be virtual. We are trying to schedule them on Wednesdays because that is the one day that, again, all of you are kind of in the same boat. For those of you that are home always, you're still home. Those of you that are doing the hybrid, you are also home on Wednesdays. This is how important the remind is. So the virtual college rep visits, we will be alerting you via Naviance and remind text. So again, we realize to be connected so that you know exactly who's coming and when, because the last thing you want is to miss a rep visit. Okay, so on your Naviance homepage, for those of you that have not logged in a while, there are different links. So all of the items listed, so College Board, ACT, an SAT study guide, your common application, there are links to all of those different sites right there. You can also Google them, but if you want to just log into Naviance, you can do that and just scroll down on the left side of the homepage and all of these links are listed there. Okay, so big day, Wednesday, as in a week from today. You are all given the same opportunity. The district pays for you to take the SAT. It will happen at school this coming Wednesday, so 1 week from today. Bus transportation is provided, and this for hybrid and fully remote kids, all of you. Every senior is included in this. So your regular bus transportation, if you usually have it, you can take that. Parents can drive you. It will be an early dismissal day, so the buses will then come back to pick you up at 12:30. So 7:30 to 12:30. You must come in uniform. So for those of you that have been home since March, you are going to have to wash that and wear it into the building, please. For those of you that borrowed a calculator, we need you to bring it with you that day. It really is a great opportunity because it's the regular SAT. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to register for it. You can thank Ms. Tamburro because she registered every single one of you. You get 4 free score reports. So what that means is you will take the test. When your test then is scored, you can send those scores to 4 schools for free.
Can I just add to that?
Sure.
We actually have something for the school day where students can enter 4 school codes on their answer sheet the day they take the test, so that there's no wasting of time. As soon as you get the scores, 4 of your colleges will get the scores.
Okay. If you have any questions about that, shoot myself or Ms. Tamburro an email. But just remember, next Wednesday, 7:30 SAT, be there, okay? Okay, so when we go through the rest of this night, we are talking about your post-secondary plans. So many of you will go to college. Not all of you will. Some of you will choose to join a military branch. Some of you will choose to take a year off and figure out what it is you really want to do. Some of you will get a job. Some of you will go to a 2-year school, some to a 4-year school. So we really want to make sure that whatever path you choose is the path that works for you and for your family. It's really important, and there are resources for all of those paths that I just listed. yeah, let's kind of continue through. So I am actually going to share my screen. So this may be the biggest change that we have. As I said before, our entire college application process had to change. And a big piece of that is that we had to make everything digital. We had to figure out a way that whether it is a student that comes in twice a week or has not come in the building at all this year, you would have the same information, have the same access, and have the same procedures, most important. So I'm going to share my screen. While I'm doing that, if anybody entered late, if you can remember to write your name in the chat so that we know that you were here, that'd be great. All right, so Ms. Tamburro and my Google Classrooms for the seniors, just for you guys, will look exactly the same. Okay, there'll be mirror images, everything will be in the same spot so that if you are really not sure, you know, again, send us an email, but either of us can walk you through it. So under the classwork tab, this is where all of those paperwork items that you guys have seen over the years on like the door frame in between our two offices, all those forms, or on the desks on the left outside of my office, all of those forms are now digital. Some are Google forms. There are one or two that are actual forms that you will have to then scan and upload. But again, this is really a way to streamline the process. So the item at the top is really the item that each of you should print out or download, whichever you prefer, because this is really the most important. So this item right here is a checklist. So every item in each of these shapes are items that you have to get done, okay? I know it seems like a lot. I promise you most of these are 1 to maybe 2 minute items. For example, the fee waiver, you just have to fill out the form. Transfer request form, also just fill out the form. Each of those maybe will take 2 minutes. When we talk about the paperwork that goes with all of the college applications, the most important thing to remember is that everything is due to either myself or Ms. Tamburro 3 school weeks. So it's really 15 school days before the deadline. And we are really, really firm with that. We do not make any exceptions because colleges do not make any exceptions. So if UConn's priority deadline is December 1st and you submit your stuff December 2nd at 6 a.m., they're not going to accept it. So we make sure that we really follow that same exact procedure. You guys all have more than enough time to get everything done. You have enough access to it. All you have to do is ask a question if you need any sort of help. So this bottom right part, I'm not sure if you can see my mouse or not, but this bottom right part that says application deadlines truly should be your guide. So I know, like, I've had 2 students reach out to me. They have November 1st deadlines. They need to get all of their paperwork to me by this Friday, October 9th, okay? Because that is 3 school weeks ahead of time. And it really takes us a while to make sure that we get everything to the schools, and that letter of recommendation is honestly what takes the most time. The rationale behind this is also because if we have 20 kids that have the same deadline, it's not that easy to just spin everything around in 1 day, 2 days, whatever.
It's blue. It's dark blue.
Thank you, Ray. Okay, so that is the most important. If you grab this sheet, it's an easy way to look at everything, make sure you have everything done in one spot. Going to quickly go through each of these items. What I'd like to say again, and I know I'm going to probably repeat the same thing 30 times, just ask questions. The biggest issue that either of us ever have with any students are just students that don't communicate. So even if you have no clue what's going on, say, listen, I need help. I'm not really sure what's going on. Where do I find this? So the transfer request form, that's a form that literally you put down the schools that you are applying to. You are going to enter the way in which you are sending it. So are you sending it via Common App? Is it just online? There are a handful of schools that are still mail. You're going to indicate if it is early decision, which we'll go into later, early action, rolling or regular, and then you're going to include the deadline, okay? Super important. The senior brag sheet. So there is a senior brag sheet and then there is a parent brag sheet. This is truly the time where we want to hear every accomplishment that you have ever had. Well, not ever. Hold on, take that back. Since 9th grade started, okay? Anything that you have done that's great, whether it's in school or out of school, please include it. And we really we don't care about grammar. We don't care about spelling. We just need the information. So the more details, the better. I'm sure some of you have noticed that it says parent brag sheet, and you might be wondering, well, that's weird because this is for students. So here is the deal with the parent brag sheet. It is also a Google form, but because mom, dad, whoever you live with, notice there, mom, dad, grandma, auntie, uncle, we don't care who you live with. Whoever your guardian is and whoever your person is going to be considered the parent for this brag sheet. And for them, you just need to send them this link. They do not need a Hartford Public Schools email to get into that specific Google form, okay? Records release form, I just quickly want to go over this. So this is that one form that I spoke about that you will need to print out, okay? This must be printed, and your parent, unless you are 18, must sign this. You will then scan it, so you can just take a picture on your phone and then upload it. I'm sure most of you know exactly how to do that, especially at this point, since we've been using Google Classroom for so long. So that is the one form. We need a actual signature on there. This document right here just explains, it's the 3 weeks. It is a bigger version of these deadline dates. You'll notice for some of them, it seems like a little longer, and that's because there's Thanksgiving break in there, or there's December break in there. So that is that. This fee waiver application. So this is going to be a little bit different this year as well. And so this I just want to go over. So the application for college testing fee waiver, this is if you feel that you need assistance paying for your college applications and paying for your test scores. So what all you need to do is put your name, your address, and there are a couple different items. You can either click off that based on USDA income guidelines, your family qualifies. You may be enrolled in federal, state, or local programming that for low-income families. You may live in subsidized housing. You may be a ward of the state. Or because of COVID, because there are so many different things going on this year, if you do not fit into any of those categories, but you need that help, click this one. None of the above questions apply to me, but I have a special circumstance, okay? And again, if you have any questions, you can ask us. Resume, so our resume, we would prefer that your resume is done in Naviance, and then you can upload a copy of it to the Google Classroom. If it is not done in there, you can also make one in another program and upload it, but we must have a complete resume. And the resume is for us, but it also is going to go to your teacher. So the other...
I do not think Among Us is appropriate in this call. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt, but they're talking about a video game, and it's very distracting to me. Sorry.
Guys, I would love if we could just be appropriate tonight. If you could, the chat stays off, because this is really important. It's not fair to everyone else that is interested in hearing this. So many of you have probably heard of the pink form. Ms. Tamburro and I literally call it the pink form. It's that form that goes to teachers when you would like a letter of recommendation. So this year, again, because everything had to change, the procedure for asking a teacher for a letter of rec is as follows. So I'd really love if you all listen to this. It's also written down here. So you are going to email your teacher personally and ask, please do not tell them, but ask them if they are willing to write you a letter of recommendation, okay? We have been really clear with our teachers that if they are not comfortable, to please decline. So I promise you that if a teacher agrees to it, they will write you a glowing letter. Once the teacher has agreed, you will then have to get them a copy of that resume like I just talked about. And you will also, that's after, there it is. You will also, this is that pink form, complete this, and then you will email it to them. So you email the teacher, Teacher agrees. You reply back with this pink form and your resume. They need both of those, okay? This pink form, these due dates are super important. Without that, the teacher really cannot write that letter. After you send that to them, you will then log into Naviance, and you have to send them the actual link through your Naviance. If you're not sure how to do it, you can scroll down here. There's a video right here called Naviance Overview. It's, I think, maybe 2 minutes, and it's literally me logging into Naviance. I grabbed one of your accounts, logged in, and showed you exactly how to do that, okay? You will then just fill out this form so that Ms. Tamburro and I know which teacher you are asking for that letter, so it's on our radar, and that's the end of that procedure. And all of this is written down, okay? Again, I know I'm like throwing a lot at you guys, but all of this is written down. This platform, as in the Google Classroom, is going to be super helpful in terms of getting everything to us. If you have any questions, again, I know I've said this about 18 times now, but really just ask us, okay? Ms. Tamburro, did I miss anything when I went over those forms?
No, I think you got everything.
Okay. So again, if you guys can all like make sure my kids are in my classroom, Ms. Tamburro's kids are in her classroom, so that we are good to go and you guys can start looking at it, okay? And for you guys, when you do your brag sheet, it is just as important that you also brag, you know, write all those really good things that you have worked so hard on all these years. Okay.
One thing I did want to mention is that Ms. Kaizer and I have office hours through our Zooms. And so mine are, for example, they're Monday mornings and they're on Friday afternoons, between 8 and 9 on Monday morning and 1 and 2 on Friday afternoon for me. So, you know, that's a great time for you to come in, pop in. If you have any questions, you're welcome. And don't forget, we both have Calendarlies in our Google Classrooms, so you can certainly set up a meeting and we expect you. The fall really is dedicated to seniors. And make those appointments with us so that we can meet with you and help you, just as if we were actually all together. So nothing has changed with that aspect.
I was gonna say, and just to like follow up, like it can be a short appointment. You don't have to feel like you need to spend 30 minutes, you know, staring at a screen at us. You know, you can spend 10 minutes with us. You can also shoot us emails. Again, I had a Zoom with a kid today and I told her, send me as many emails as you need to, because again, the only thing we can't help with is when we don't know that you need the help. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
I'm going to share mine. Okay. Righty. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about, when Ms. Kaizer talked about where will your path take you, the first option we want to talk about is community college. Community college has become really popular amongst students, and so we thought it was important. One of the things that's really important, or that has come to light over the last few years, is very cost efficient. Besides the cost itself, the community colleges began a new program this past spring called the PACT program, and it's Connecticut's program for free community college. And how do we qualify for that? So you need to be a Connecticut high school graduate. You would be a first-time college student, which you all would be. You need to fill out your FAFSA and accept all awards, as it is a last dollar scholarship. You need to register for at least 12 credits, and you need to participate in a degree credit-bearing certificate program. And then once you're enrolled, you need to remain in good academic standing. So that's called the Connecticut PACT program. And they pay up to 72 credits of your community college. So we wanted to talk about that. A few of our students did take advantage of that this year, and it's a wonderful opportunity for you guys. The testing is different for community college. So in terms of standardized tests, they do use their placement test called the AccuPlacer. And that is used for placement for math and English. Or you can submit your SAT scores as well. If you scored above a 500 on your SAT and you would like to submit that instead, that would place you into a credit bearing, usually math or English 101 there. It is a very accessible education. Our Capital Community College and Manchester Community College have really done wonderful things with their programming. Last spring, we took students to Capital Community College, and they really have wonderful programs there. And their preparation is very enticing for our students. And then there is a difference in the application process. So as we go through this PowerPoint tonight, we'll be talking about the college application process itself. But for community college, you don't have to fill out the common application. You would just fill out the community college application. And then there is no teacher recommendation needed and no essay needed. So those are just some of the things when thinking about applications, what they do or don't require. Another thing is that community colleges have open admission to most programs. They do have 1 or 2 year career programs as well, and 1 or 2 year liberal arts transfer programs available at their schools. If you want to start community college to begin and then have the option to transfer, we do have a program called the Guaranteed Acceptance Program to Connecticut's 4-year state schools. So after completion of 2 years at the community college, if you have a 3.0 GPA, you can automatically transfer to CCSU or Southern Connecticut or Eastern Connecticut or Western Connecticut. And there is a flawless, seamless transfer process. The important thing is that if this is something you want to take advantage of, that you have to make sure that you state that at the beginning, because they will put you on the correct track to have enough credits to do that once you are done with your sophomore year there at the community college. And so I have a bunch of students now who have just finished their 2 years at a community college and asked me to send their transcript over to CCSU, and they were able to easily just seamlessly just transfer over. So that is also a great option. Another thing I wanted to say is that, students used to apply much later to the community colleges. So we used to say, wait till February or March. I would say because of everything going on and become so popular, maybe waiting that long is not necessarily the best thing to do. So if that's something you are looking to explore sooner rather than later. Okay. All right, so understanding the college deadlines. This is also very important. So there are 4 different deadlines that colleges use when students are applying. So there's rolling admissions, regular decision, priority and early action, and early decision. So rolling admission, there's no official deadline when you're applying. Each application is considered as students apply and have submitted all their materials. So there's no official deadline per se. You can just apply. Having said that, just because there's rolling admission does not mean you should wait until May, because when they have reached their capacity, they have reached their capacity. And so even though there is no official deadline, it's important to apply sooner rather than later for that. So that's rolling admission. Regular decision is typically their regular deadline. So they have a deadline of, for example, for UConn, December 1 is their regular decision deadline to be considered for financial aid. So you need to have your stuff in by December 1st, and typically you hear sometime in April. So usually April 1st, they release their decisions. So you apply a regular and then you hear back regular. Early action and priority. So early action is an option to students to apply before the regular deadline and then hear back earlier than you would for regular decision. Early action is not binding, meaning if you get accepted, you do not have to go there. So if you really love a school and you are really interested in attending there, you can apply early and you will hear back early. Early decision, on the other hand, should be used to apply to your first choice college. Early decision is binding. So if you get into, if you are accepted into your early decision school, you must withdraw all your other applications for colleges and you are expected to attend that school. So when you apply to when you apply to schools through early decision, you will be signing a document. Your counselor will be signing a document and your parent will be signing a document through the common application stating that, just what I just mentioned, that if you get accepted to that school, you must attend that school. So we don't recommend early decision for many students. If there's a school that you know that is your heart and soul and you want to go there, that would be your route. Otherwise, early action might be a better option for you. So let's talk a little bit about the common application. So back when I went to college, we used to apply to, if I applied for 5 schools, I would do 5 different applications for each school. That has changed. So they've streamlined it. It's become much easier. So the common application is the one application where you can apply to many schools as you're looking to apply for. We recommend between 6 and 8 schools. But you can apply, most of the colleges will use the common application. So you can apply, use that one application, you're filling out all your demographics on that one common application, which we refer to as the common app. And then you're adding each of your schools onto that. So as you see, there's over 800 colleges and universities there. Your application can be saved, so you don't have to feel like you need to get it all done at one point. You can start it today and finish it next week. There's just a save option, so you can keep going back to it. There are supplements available for participating schools. So some schools that you may apply for will ask for supplemental questions and essays, which would be put there as well. One thing that we want to note is that there will be a section where you are inviting teachers, where you need your common application. We do not want you to invite your teacher through the common app. You will do that through Naviance. So just make sure you do not use that portion of the common app for recommendations. And then you can go to our Google Classroom for a how-to to complete the application. Ms. Kaizer and I will also make, corny as we are, corny little videos along the way on how-tos. So stay tuned for those. And then down there is a little screenshot of kind of what the front page looks like for the common app. You're all gonna create an account and you will be a first-time student there. What I strongly recommend to you guys is that you go into your notes section of your phone and you put in your username and password for your common app, for your Naviance, for your college board, because the last thing you want to do is create duplicate accounts. You want to make sure that your birthday is correct, because the last thing you want to do is to be on the phone with them for hours trying to verify who you really are. You will not make friends that way. You do not want to create duplicate accounts. So you want to make sure that you create that one account and you remember your username and password. Okay. Alrighty, moving on. So this is what you'll notice when you log into the Common App. You'll notice those 5 tabs up at the top. The dashboard tab, you will list all the colleges you're applying to through there. So you'll see all the colleges. If you go to the My College tab, now you notice that there are, on the left-hand side, this student has applied to is applying to Assumption, College of Holy Cross, Emmanuel, and so forth. So if you'll notice that there are questions, recommenders in FERPA, and we'll talk about that in a minute, and review and submit. Anytime you complete a section of the Common App, you will notice a green check mark. If it is not a green check mark, you have not completed the entire section. So make sure that you're looking through that and you're completing all of the sections. The next tab at the top, Common App, that is where all the demographics will go in. So all your information, your social security, your name, your address, all of that stuff, that is done one time. And then the college, that will go for all the colleges. So you'll answer individual questions for the colleges, but the demographics part only goes one time, okay? The college search button is that's where you're gonna add your colleges. There will be a plus sign and you will add the colleges there. And then there are financial aid resources as well that you can utilize. So the release authorization, the FERPA that we were just talking about, that is basically you are agreeing to waive your rights to read your letters of recommendation. So the reason why we want you to do this is because it shows validity to the colleges that your teachers and your counselors are not writing something only because you are able to see what they're writing about you. So we encourage you guys to make sure that you submit the FERPA and that you check off that you are waiving your rights to read your letters of recommendations. So here's what it looks like. You're acknowledging and then you're waiving your rights there. Okay. All right, so Naviance. So Naviance and Common App kind of talk. And so all HMTCA students have accounts. Ms. Kaizer talked about logging in. You're making sure that you're using the single login. And it's an online platform that helps you with college and career searches. I also like the College Board website to do college searches, but Naviance does a really nice job with finding your college choices. So use that. There are also, if you have no idea what you want to major in or you have no idea what you enjoy, there's also, as you guys have seen, there are many inventories there that you can take. Guys, if you don't mind listening, that would be really nice.
I was gonna say, I'm literally just removing people from this Zoom call as soon as they yell out because we show up on my end. So if you guys can't keep it together,
Thank you, Ms.
can just
Kaizer.
be, we really would.
Thank you. But there are many interest inventories that you can take and answer questions, and you guys have a good amount of time where you can get all these things done, and it gives you kind of ideas of what you might want to pursue. So we continue to advise you guys to do those inventories. And then it's just the electronic program that we use to send all your college materials. The really cool thing about Naviance is that during your college application process, you are inevitably going to get an email from a college saying, we never got your transcript, or we never got an item that needs to be part of your application process. It timestamps everything. So we can easily, once colleges communicate with you, you would reach out to Ms. Kaizer or myself and say, hey, I applied to Boston University and they're saying they don't have my transcript. We can go in and track when it was sent exactly and then follow up with them, so that it's really nice that we are able to see that on our end. So this is what you're going to see when you go to the Naviance login page. You'll see your name there, and then you'll see on the top right, the 5 tabs appear: Home, Colleges, Career, About Me, and My Planner. The colleges, last year when we met during our junior planning meetings, we put a bunch of colleges in the colleges you're thinking about list, and that'll show that in the next slide. So this was the college, if you notice up here, it says colleges I'm thinking about. What we're gonna do this year, what you're gonna do this year is you're gonna look through this list. You might have done your research and you might say, oh, I went to all of these schools. Or, oh, I think I'm just gonna apply to 3 of the 5 that I put on here. And you're gonna move those to the colleges you're applying to list. So you're gonna move it to the application list over here. You check them off, and then you move it to the applying list. One thing to note is that if it is on your Naviance, it must also be on your Common App. So if you just put it on one of the places, it's not going to talk to each other when your letters of recommendations get sent and when your transcript and the school profile. So they must be on both places if the college participates in Common App. So you need to make sure that they're listed on both platforms, okay? Another cool thing with Naviance is that your deadlines are here. They provide your deadlines. Just because I like to overdo things sometimes, I would also go on the college website as well, just to verify that their deadlines are the same. Everything you can possibly want to know about when deadlines are, what the application requirements are. This is nothing that you have to guess. It is not a guessing game. Everything is listed on the college website. Any information you can possibly need will be there. So we encourage you guys. It takes time for sure, but this is the first step in you guys applying to college and starting your next educational endeavor. So we notice here that you'll see the CA in this box. This means that they use the Common App, okay? And all these schools actually have the Common App as their delivery type. You might see a screen. That means that they have their own electronic platform, okay? So, but it tells you, it gives you, Naviance gives you tons of information. So utilize that when you're applying to schools. This is where you get to the teacher recommendation part. So at the bottom of the screen, where it says colleges I'm applying, or the colleges you're actually applying to, there will be a teacher recommendation portion. You're going to click on that and then add the request at the right over here, and the teacher's name will come up. So you want to make sure that that is how you get to the teacher recommendation part. Do you need help getting started? Of course you do. That's why we're here. So please reach out to your counselor, reach out to Ms. Kaizer and to myself. We are here to help you through this process. Set up a meeting with us. We want to help, and no question is a dumb question. Just reach out to us. Usually if you don't reach out to us by a certain time, we reach out to you. So reach out to us. We're here to help. Ms. Nussbaum is here to help. She's a wonderful person to read those essays, and she'll talk about that in a few. But she has a wealth of knowledge with applying to colleges and what you need and to get you on track.
And the option where we come looking for you is like not super pleasant. So like, we're so annoying. Just come to us. It's a lot easier in the long run.
Yeah. And then for the front page of the Common App, you're going to just click on the how to apply, scroll down, and it'll show the process. So again, it's a fun, exciting time. It's also stressful, but we get through it every year. Just stay on top of things, make your lists, make deadline lists, and we will get through this together. Okay? All righty. Ms. Nussbaum, turning it to you.
All righty. Okay, so if you're applying to four-year colleges, it is very likely, almost assuredly, you will have to write at least one essay. You may have to write more than one essay depending on the school and the requirements. The essay that goes into the Common App, because there will be one in the Common Application, has 6 different prompts to give you ideas, but one of their prompts is always pick a topic of your choice. So there's lots of flexibility in writing that essay. We say show, don't tell, because this is supposed to be a personal and reflective essay. It's not supposed to be where you tell them how compassionate you are, how organized you are, how you have met challenges. It's meant to show them how you have handled these things or how you view these things, because you have relayed an experience and reflected on that experience so that they've learned a lot of things about you by what you've said. You haven't had to tell them about yourself. They just know that from what they've read. The idea is to help colleges get to know you. And in this particular situation where we are dealing with a pandemic, the colleges haven't had as much opportunity to get to know you. So you have to take advantage of every opportunity you have to let them know who you are and what your goals are and what you're all about. Many of you have an essay from your junior year. So reread that now before you make a decision about whether to use it or not. You may find that it doesn't reflect you anymore. It isn't, you think of looking at things a different way, or you've had other experiences or other thoughts about essays that are more appealing to you. Don't feel that you have to use that essay just because you already wrote it. If you feel like you read that essay and you don't like the way it's written, think about starting all over again rather than trying to edit that one. And if you want me to read it over and help you make a decision about that, I'd be happy to. If you're just sitting down to write an essay, I hope that you will have done a lot of things before you're staring at that blank screen, because that can be very intimidating to see a blank screen and not know how you're going to start. I recommend walking around with a lot of ideas in your head and how you would handle that particular topic, how you would approach it, what different ways you could do it. I think it's important to do a lot of thinking before you write. Leave out the details and reflect on the impact on you. How has this changed you? How has it made you see things differently? How have you realized some things about yourself from this experience? Spend more time on the reflection than on the details of what you want to tell them about. When you are writing an essay, it's very easy to lose sight of what you're trying to say. So think about that before you even approach the essay. Think about, okay, if I write about this topic and I write about it in this way, what am I trying to say? What is my major point that I'm trying to make? And don't lose sight of that point as you go through your essay. Many students start with a topic that is a little too broad, and it's hard to rein it in and write more specifically and have time to reflect because the topic is a little broad. I can help you with that too. Less is better than more. That's true today, especially because colleges are reading a tremendous number of applications. You have no idea. I did read applications for Trinity College one term, one cycle, and I will say that the pressure on admissions people to get through a great number of applications is very strong. And so when you are reading an essay, you're hoping that the student gets to the point quickly and it isn't a 2-page essay. It really helps them to read your whole essay if you haven't made it too long. And most important of all, they are trying to see how you write. So review for grammar, spelling, and punctuation. Make sure that what you wrote represents you well and shows you as a very literate person. I've put my email, my Gmail down here because I would like you to feel free to make appointments with me to sit down and talk about the essay so that you can share your essay. If you want to do that, you can email me and say, I've written this essay, or this is the essay from my junior year, and would you read it over and let me know what you think? If you share it on Google Docs and allow me to, I think they call it editing, then I can make comments on the side about the essay in general and different portions of the essay to kind of help you move through that essay. Okay.
One thing I just wanted to add with the reviewing your spelling and all that is I just want to tell really briefly, one time we went to this conference and there was a representative from Sacred Heart there. And she was reading one of the applicants' essays, and she kept seeing that they were applying to Scared Heart University. So really make sure, AutoCheck was changing it to Scared Heart instead of Sacred Heart. So really make sure that you're rereading things and having another set of eyes look at all of your stuff before you submit, because sometimes we miss things.
Absolutely. The details. These are things that you must not forget. Your colleges must be listed on Naviance, absolutely. Colleges that you're applying to on Common App must also be listed on Naviance for that link to happen. Teachers must be invited to recommend through Naviance, not Common App, but through Naviance. Your SAT and or ACT scores must be sent officially from the testing websites. As I mentioned, when you take the test next Wednesday, you will have an opportunity to put down at least 4 colleges. You get 4 free score reports on that answer sheet, so that as soon as you get the scores, your colleges will get the scores. This is more important for people who are planning to apply on an early deadline. That way you don't waste time getting those scores to the school. Proofread all applications very carefully. They're not just looking at your essay, they're looking at every single thing you have written on that application. Make sure that you capitalize where you are supposed to, that you put correct punctuation where it calls for complete sentences, that your sentences are well constructed. Just make sure you proofread it very carefully. I think it's a good idea to help teachers and counselors be mindful of your deadlines by sending them a thank you note for writing your recommendation just before the deadline. First of all, it shows that you appreciate that they've taken the time to do that. And just in case they haven't hit the send button yet, it reminds them that they have to do that before that deadline. There will be a lot more information on financial aid and scholarships. I will be updating Naviance this week for making scholarships active that aren't active, and just making sure that the list looks right to me. There is an organization locally that allows you to fill out one application for a number of different scholarships, and that is the Hartford Foundation. There will be a link on Naviance for the Hartford Foundation scholarships. You will also get remind texts as scholarships come to our attention and we want to send them out. I do want to also mention to all of you that you should look at your college's financial aid and scholarship website, part of their website, in order to see if they have any kind of scholarships that you need to apply to separately. Presidential scholarships, merit money. There are different kinds of scholarships that the colleges will have that you might be eligible for. And don't forget that Financial Aid Night is October 21st at 6:30 by Zoom. Holly Franquette, who has come to us every year and has not led us astray, she has really helped our parents and our students apply for financial aid and know what they're doing. Important things to know for your applications. This slide will help you a lot. That is our school code. You must have that. That will be required on your Common App and any application that you complete. We do not provide rank in class. If you need a percentile of the class that you fall into, you can see your counselor to get that information. We provide both the weighted and the unweighted GPA on your transcript. And the class of 2021 has 122 students. That's another piece of information that you'll be asked on your applications. Okay, so things to remember, and this is like the checklist that is on Google Classroom. Keep your grades up. Colleges are going to be checking in on your grades. Some will require first quarter grades, and you will have to let your counselor know that we have to send your first quarter grades to those colleges that require it. You may decide your grades are so good first quarter, you want to send them to all the schools. That's okay. We will send semester grades, first semester grades, to all of the colleges that you apply to. Many colleges, oh, I already said that, report all your decision results to your counselor. I'm talking about now not just I've been accepted, Yahoo, but maybe I've been deferred from early action to regular decision. I've been waitlisted. I've been denied. And if you want to talk those decisions over with your counselor, they may be able to help you figure out what are your next steps. For colleges that defer you or waitlist you, there may be some things that you should be doing in order to let that college feel comfortable with admitting you a little later. You're going to finish the race well. You're going to make sure that your colleges, the colleges that want to check in on second quarter grades, see a good report. That might make a difference between you being accepted or not. And your second semester grades will definitely go to the college of your choice. We are all here to help you all year, not just in the fall. Right now, it feels like the most important time is the fall, but you'll see as the year goes on that concerns are going to come up with financial aid, with scholarships, with what you've heard from colleges, questions about colleges, and we can help with all of that. The most common mistakes we've seen in the process is missing deadlines. Colleges don't mess around with deadlines. You either make it or you don't. If it's rolling, there's a little flexibility there, but if you take too much flexibility, you might lose out. Students also not paying attention to what colleges require individually. All colleges are not the same. They have different requirements from one another, different requirements for you, for what you've achieved, and different requirements for what you put into that application, the different pieces that you must submit to them. Using the wrong college name in an essay happens typically when you've been asked to write an essay about why you want to attend that school. Sometimes a student will say, well, I've already written an essay for Central because they have one of those essays. I'm going to use a lot of the same information in my essay for Sacred Heart. And they forget to change the name of the college that they mentioned in the essay. So that's similar to the typo thing. You're definitely not putting your best foot forward when you put the wrong college name in that essay. Students forgetting to send test scores officially. This can hang things up quite a bit. So make sure that you are sending them either when you take the test or after the fact. If you've decided on some other schools, that you go into your College Board website and request that official score reports be sent to those colleges. The other thing that can snag you and trip you up is if you feel that you have to wait for other things to happen, for your recommendations to get there, for your transcript to get there, before you can submit your materials. So if you, Ms. Tamburro, if you could go to the next slide. This helps you to understand who does what. And these are all happening simultaneously. One doesn't depend on the other one. You don't have to hang up to do any of these. So you're sending your application with the fee or a fee waiver. Included in that application is your essay. You may have some supplementary essays or materials that have to be sent. And you have to make sure that your SAT or ACT, if they are required, are sent from the official website. You can do that at any point that you are ready. When your application is all ready to go, you send it. You don't wait for your school counselor to send their stuff. You don't wait for the teacher to send their stuff, because they are responsible for meeting the deadline also. But their materials get sent separately through Naviance. So that's a very important page to help you keep track of who does what. And last but not least, we'll take some questions.
Okay.
Or not, and then we can all just log off and go watch the debate. No?
That's tonight?
Is there a debate tonight?
Yeah, the VP debate is tonight.
Oh my God, it is the 7th. Okay, let's
Wait, we're done?
So just
We're
one
done.
quick question. Do you guys have information on the service hours? 'Cause I know usually you have to do a set amount every year. How is
Oh.
that going to impact the seniors this year who were interrupted mid-year last year? Well, pretty much, senior.
So our honest answer is that we don't have an actual answer. And administration doesn't either. I mean, they're just not, we're not really sure because of COVID how, if a kid has most of theirs done and not the rest, okay, fine. But a kid that doesn't have any done, I mean, we can't really ask them to go out. So we've tried to come up with a couple of creative ideas that are service learning oriented, like sending letters to veterans. Veterans Day is coming up, like items like that are service oriented, but you don't have to be in a big mass group of people.
Okay. Okay. That's the only question I have for now. Okay. Thank you.
Other than that, goodbye, everybody.
Hi, I have a question about senior pictures.
It's Naya. She's tough. It's Naya. It's not.
What exactly is your question about senior pictures? I'm not sure.
Oh, sorry. Are you guys doing senior pictures, or how do they get submitted? Like, do I take her out and go to like a photographer and do senior pictures, and how do they get submitted and get put in the yearbook type of thing?
So my honest answer is I have literally no idea. I can find out for you, but I really don't. I don't know. I don't know if Ms. Brahman, Ms. Tamburro, Ms. Nussbaum, anybody has a better answer.
You may want to reach out to Miss Lalonde, the graphics teacher, since she's the one that does the yearbook each year. If you reach out to her, you can just email her or give a call at the school. I know our website's going to be back up soon. She may have information about that because there are students each year that go and get the packages done separately, but then she does the actual school one with the school taken photos, which we don't have right now. So it's a tricky question for now.
Okay, thank you.
Miss Kaizer, what are your office hours?
I will have them posted in there because I don't remember them off the top of my head like Ms. Tamburro does. I know when you and I met the other day, I told you them, but I honestly don't remember. So.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry, not helpful
There's
at all.
one question, how are we going to have individual senior meetings with counselors, or should we schedule them? You should schedule them with us. So reach out to us. How do you reach out to us? That's another question on there. Wonderful. Great questions. So if you go onto our Google Classrooms, there is a link to schedule a meeting there with us. You can also send us an email, send a smoke signal, tons of different options to get a hold of us. But yeah, you can, Calendarly is I really enjoy using that because it'll give you my availability and you can just schedule a meeting there with us.
Ms. Tamburro,
Yes.
to clarify, I cannot sign into my Naviance, and just to clarify, I am using student sign-in. I have been able to access it before this, but now it says I'm not able to access it with my school account.
Alex, will you send me an email and I'll look into that tomorrow?
This is Koichi.
Oh, Koichi, yes, you too.
Did you use the single login though, or the login and the password?
Single login. I was able to
Okay.
do it last week, and now I'm not able to.
Okay.
Send me an email and I'll look into it, okay?
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
Ms. Tamburro, they're asking about how to handle the SATs next week with the COVID situation.
Oh, good question.
Wonderful question. So in terms of spacing, we are we have very small testing rooms. There will be about 8 students per room. We do obviously expect that every student come in with a mask But students will be traveling in cohorts and will be in their testing rooms for the entire test, and then we'll be able to grab a lunch, grab and go in the cafeteria. But there will be 6 feet distance between students in each classroom.
I'd like to piggyback on that and add, there's another question about the class rings. I just spoke to the representative yesterday. They are going to be sending in the packets, which actually have a ring sizer in them, a disposable one this year. We should have them there for SAT day next Wednesday for the kids to take on their way out when they leave at the end of the day. And then there's other information I'll be passing along to them either through the counselors' different Google Classrooms or through Remind, and they'll get information in one of those formats there.
There's also a question about how to find out what the university codes are for the SAT scores. You will actually, on testing day, you will get a little booklet with every college in the United States and their wonderful codes that you'll be able to put into your answer sheet. So that will be given to you. And in terms of must students have the 4 colleges selected on the SAT day? No, you do not have to have it that day. That is for four. If you even think you want to apply there, I would say use that because those are free. So that would be a good idea to do that. Ms. Brumman, are they getting t-shirts?
Okay, so we are going to have the t-shirt contest. It has not been done yet, obviously, or you would have received something about it. The contest each year, it takes place on the Custom Inc. site. So if you want to start playing around on there, you're welcome to go to that site and look for class of 2021 ideas. What you can do is you can develop yours, and you can do it now if you want, on that site using their graphics. If you should choose a graphic that is not on their site, you would then have to get the permission from the artist to be able to use that artwork on your design for the senior t-shirts. So you're not going to be doing that. So I would suggest you go in and take a look at the different ones that they have already made. They have a ton of them. They're fun. You could take one that was already made and then just alter it to be something that you like better. So if you choose to do this now, you can feel free to then send it to me through my school email, which I'll put in the chat. And I will compile them all until we actually have enough to be able to do a contest and vote. We will find out more about the service learning hours. So I'd say for now, I wouldn't worry about it. Just keep it there in the back of the mind, but that is not the most important thing right now.
The question about the deadlines, those are the college deadlines. So the October 9th deadline is only if you have a November 1st deadline, and that's really only for early action and early decision. Hope that helped to answer that. Yeah, it was, and it's in that Google Classroom that I showed you guys. So that senior Google Classroom, all of those documents are in there.
Amar, the Calendarly link is in our Google Classrooms. And for mine, I know I have it in my signature on my email as well. Any other questions?
Yes. Okay. For the SAT day, do we get bus transportation? Like, say we already have a bus time set up. Can we just ride the bus to school that day?
Yes. So the district has been working with the bus company to get all our remote students a bus route for that day. So there should be a bus for you. I'm not sure how they're communicating time, but I will find out more information and then I will send it through Remind as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So I want to remind you guys that October 21st at 6:30 is financial aid night. It's really an important night, filling out the FAFSA that actually opened up October 1st. is going to be really important for you guys in terms of paying for college. And there's a lot of information to know about the whole financial aid and scholarships. So we really encourage you guys to be there on the 21st at 6:30. Holly Franquet has been with us, as Ms. Kaizer, Ms. Nussbaum stated before, and she really is a great guru for just a variety of different scenarios that families have, and she is really good at answering any of those questions. So we encourage you guys to please join us, and we will send out the link for the Zoom on the 21st. Any last questions?
Yeah, Miss Tamburro.
Yes.
May I have Miss Lalonde's email, please?
Can you send me an email and I will send it to you?
Yes.
Thank you. The website is also coming together very nicely, and the staff directory will be on there with everybody's email. And is it already there?
Yeah, it's already up and running.
Oh, great.
Okay.
We'll put the email in the, oh, there's Miss Lalande's email. Thank you, Miss Brahman. And we can actually put the link for the website in there as well for you guys.
I have a question.
Sure.
Are the slides gonna be like sent anywhere, like to the Google Classroom or something?
No, but we did record the whole Zoom meeting tonight. So if you have nothing to do on Saturday night, your whole family can rewatch it together.
Where are you going to post it?
It'll be on the school's website. Mr. Vasescus will upload it for us from Mrs. Goldstein, who that's why we used her Zoom, so that it saves, and she can just send it as a YouTube link. And
Wait, like as a Gmail or something?
no, it'll be posted on our school's website.
Okay, thank you.
We really appreciate you guys coming out tonight, even if it's via Zoom. And we hope that you guys learned, just a few things, if even only how to contact Ms. Kaizer, Ms. Nussbaum, and myself. And we promise we will get through this together. It's an exciting time for you guys, so we want to help you through this process. All right, everyone. Enjoy the debate if you're going to watch it. If not, we will talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.
Night.
Good morning.
Good night, thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice to see some of your faces.
All right, good night. Thank you.
Good night. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Jacob. Just us four.
Just us.
Just the four of us.
So we should probably end this so that they don't all need to hear us talking.
Wonderful. Oh, it's being recorded.
It's recorded.